says we're live here.
Already?
It has begun. Well, it's
Let
the
me,
internet. It's 2022.
let
Guy,
me
it's
turn
almost
down my
2023.
phone so I don't
Almost
get no.
2023, man. You're one of those look forward type of people, right? You're always looking to the future. Not that you're not in the moment, but you're also always looking towards the future, yeah?
Hmm. Am I a future guy?
I think you have a long view. Doesn't mean that you're, like I said, not that you're lost in the moment. Just you got a long game going on, right?
I'd like to say yes.
Right?
It might be a lie,
Maybe. I mean, I think maybe we all think that a little
but
bit.
it sounds like it sounds idealistic. It sounds like the way a person should be if they're
Hmm.
trying to achieve success. For instance, today I was talking to one of my clients, and she used to be a track coach, and she says now that she does it. She picks her spots on who she's going to coach when she's going to coach.
Mhm.
Right. So she says that she has one person that she's coaching right now because it's a friend's daughter that does hurdles. And I'm only bringing this up because you say the long game. And what
Mhm.
she said to me is that when she asked the daughter, what is your coaches that you have now? What is his plans? She's like, nothing. We're just gonna run a meet next week and da 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 da. And she goes, what are you
Mhm.
looking forward to? She's like, I'm looking forward to try out for the national, like to run the nationals next year, September. So then she's like, so then why are you running now? Like
Mhm.
you need to have like a quarterly plan, like things set up in like quarters. So right
Right.
now you shouldn't be doing any meets. You should be building muscles and getting
It's
ready
a
for the
different type of, yeah.
right. So when you say, like the long game, it just brought me back to the conversation I had with her about just a long-term plan. And she
Mhm.
goes, and then if it's Olympics, you're talking about breaking that four down into 4 years, and I was like, man, like there's a real science to everything.
Trust the process, right? You got to
So yeah,
understand it. You got to understand it, to trust it, all that good stuff, and see
yeah,
how the universe works. That was today that happened?
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Must be a Tuesday, guy.
So yeah, I'm working on getting more precise with my long-term breakdown of life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for instance, by the end of the next hour and a half, I should have planned to drink enough to get to a level of incompetence, and then just leave our guest on her own to handle the situation.
We're just have to wait. But see, this what happens. See, we get guests on, and now you talk about your goals, and that can't be your goal right now. We can't. Your goal cannot be to leave the guest that we're inviting
Okay.
into
True,
our
true, true, true,
right
true.
to leave them high and dry. I mean, there's going to be nice people here, right? There's some good folk,
Okay, true, true, true,
right?
true.
But the goal can still be to have fun and enjoy ourselves and learn some shit, right? I'm
Yeah,
just
that's how I'm about. I'm about the learning.
right, and looks like there might be some more people that just popped in that are going to be about the learning as well.
Ah,
We got a raid
look what we got going on here. Cindy Milo, what up with you?
coming from Music in the Break Room. DJ Inferno Toronto, first time chatter. Big up.
What up with you, DJ Inferno Toronto?
IQ
Chris and
Remix.
Manny and Cali, what up with you? LL, what up?
What up,
IQ
Trouble?
Remix, what up, sir?
Dope.
Thank you, Raiders. Thank you, Raiders. Thank you, DJ Channel 9.
Guy, did you know I was about to say you gotta host and share. Remember that stuff? You can't even host anymore or anything like that. Did you know that?
No, they took away your hosting privileges,
No friendly stuff.
but then they added the train privileges. Apparently, you could run a train as long as you want.
That's what she said.
Oh my god.
Oh, we're supposed to be on. Sorry. Yeah, well, it's past 9:30, and after 10. Well, you see, you had goals too, right? My goal is just to get every. That's what she said in that I can. It's a thing.
You
It's part
better
of the
get it
show.
in before our guests come on.
Hey, well, we'll see. I'll see what I can do. You know me. Channel 9, what up?
DJ Channel 9, what up with you? Music in the break room. Thank you, sir. Thank you for setting the mood for the rest of the evening. Who do you got here? Chico Sing, what up? Game time. Yes, yes. So how was your Thanksgiving, sir?
Thanksgiving was all right. Quiet, thankful. You know,
Thankful.
quiet and
So
thankful.
did you purchase food or you cook food? Or did
Just like
everybody do their thing?
everybody did their part. Everybody did their part.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Did you pray?
Did I pardon what?
Did you pray? Pray. Prey.
Pray. Yeah, I did actually.
You did?
Like on Thanksgiving. I don't
Yeah.
think I prayed at dinner. I prayed on Thanksgiving though.
Oh, so who prayed for dinner? Who did the grace?
No grace at dinner.
No grace? No grace?
No. Mm-mm.
You can't make them and they can't make you?
No, just no grace at dinner, I guess.
That's always an issue at the table. It's like, all right, say grace. You're like, no, you say grace. No,
You say grace, right? All that
You
stuff.
say grace. Like 5 minutes and somebody
And
get
then the
lick in the
first
back of
person
the head,
always
say
ends up saying grace. Who does grace? You did. So that always happens, and they always they always try to pass it down to the kids.
Well,
Kids don't
because
know.
we went to Catholic school.
Yeah.
So then I get them on grace before meals.
Just quick and precise and good to go, right?
I have this one uncle with this he has like a Chase voice and DJ Solid's voice and P Man's voice all wrapped up into one, this super deep, bassy, like Barry White. And like when it's grace time, if he's there, you don't have to ask him. Like he's like, yo,
you're just ready, right?
That's mine. Yo, I got this. Dear Lord, thank you for the blessings.
That's wild. Tadao, big up.
Lyndon,
all right.
What up with you, man?
So for today,
yeah,
all right, you messaged me for this show, and you were like, "We got Beverly Crandon on." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool, all right." And you're like, "She's a." I'm gonna try to. I googled it, and when I Google it, and sometimes when you get the definition, you got to listen to it, right? Make sure you can say it right.
Oh,
I think I'm gonna
that
shank
word.
it.
That word.
That word, right? Because
yes, that word.
Again, no word of a lie. Like I think I know a thing or two, but when I saw that word, I was like, "What the hell word? What the hell is that?" I really didn't know.
That word was, "I'm the captain now." You thought that was the word?
No, I just didn't know the word. So, anyways, put in sommelier. We'll have to ask her when she gets on if I said it how well I said it. How you say it? I think you add a syllable, yo.
I do. I say like Dexter St. Jacques would say it. I say sommelier.
Sommelier.
I'm not too sure if I got it right, but
we're about to find out. I think soon. I think it's about time.
But you know what's dope? I don't know. Okay, hold on. Before we go, did you watch Dream Team?
Okay.
Did you watch the Redeem Team?
Dream Team.
The Redeem Team. Sorry.
That was awesome. That was an awesome little bit of my time this weekend.
Okay. So I watched that during Thanksgiving brunch. We had brunch over at Carla's house. Right. So when we were there, I watched the Redeem Team. And what was dope about the Redeem Team, and I'm talking about timing right now, right? I'm talking about timing is because the Redeem Team was full of players that were just at the heights of excellence in their particular field, right? Basketball. You had Kobe. Sorry, you had LeBron. You had Dwayne Wade. You had Carmelo Anthony, Chris Bosh, right? Like all these players that come together and just make this great team, right? I compare it to an amazing meal. But then you know what makes every meal even better? Come on.
I mean, I have a guess, but I don't want to steal your thunder.
Tell me what it is.
What makes a meal even better?
Vino complements every meal and makes it better.
Every
And
meal.
who was Vino on this situation?
I'm gonna try this again. I don't know, Fitz.
You
Who
know
was Vino in
Vino.
this situation? Who was Vino in this situation?
You know Vino. Everybody knows Vino. If somebody knows who Vino is in the chat. That's right. weHARE, Vino. And speaking of Vino, we have a very special guest coming on today by the name of Beverly Crandon. And this is episode 65 of Pizza in the Break Room. Thank you for joining us. Grab a slice, make yourself comfortable. We'll be right back.
We here now. We here. Yeah. Pizza in the Break Room, y'all. Holla, holla, holla. Woo!
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Did we shank
Broke
that?
it. Shanked
Did we
it.
shank
Hi,
that?
Beverly. She's there. There
I'm like
she
in
is.
2 spots. I'm here. Hey,
Good evening. Good
How
evening.
are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Doing fantastic.
So far, so
Nice.
good. No complaints. Happy Tuesday. All that good stuff. Thank you for your time. I'm very appreciative that you're here. So thank you.
Am I
No,
right by
I'm-
that? Am I right
Go ahead.
that Vino compliments a meal?
Oh yeah, yeah. Completely. Like, there's no meal that I'm gonna have that will not have like a wonderful pairing wine with it. Which is tough, right? Because of course that's like calories and stuff. So on days when I want to not drink wine, I have to have like a really dry, like some lettuce, and that's it. Like, But if you get like a fancy meal, like I'm for sure pairing wine with that.
Okay.
That is awesome. I was, as you were talking about it, Fitz, I was just like, all right, cool. Now it all makes sense. But yeah, Beverly OG. I didn't even know. See, even until yesterday, I didn't put it all together. Like the Beverly OG hanging out in the chats, and I was like, wow. And so
You're like,
I guess, yeah. And I started figuring, and that's how the world works these days for me. I guess I'm like, who's this person? I'm like, oh, I've heard of this person. This is awesome. This is cool. Like when Fitz was like Beverly, I'm like, I don't know who Beverly is. And then now I'm like, oh wow, shoot, like she's here. That's so cool.
Just some
anyways.
random sommelier that you invited onto the show.
How did I do? Did you hear me? How was my pronunciation?
Very good.
Yeah?
I always tell people when they're trying to pronounce sommelier to think of like AOK sommelier.
Oh.
You sound like you do sound like a professional.
Mm.
You made that seem so simple and easy. Wow.
Okay.
And
Clever.
that's the thing. That's the beauty of what I try to do is to try to take wine and make it like simple and digestible and understandable. Because a lot of people don't do that. They speak about wine in these elitist terms and they use these descriptors. Like I remember going to school and they'd be like, oh, we get quince. And I'd be like, what do you ask is quince? Because in my Guyanese home, my mother was not buying quince for us to eat. So I knew what this was. Tutus, I researched, and it's like a type of pear. So that person that was saying, oh, I get quince, could have said pear, notes of pear. And we all would have been like, okay, yeah, I get it. But because they wanted to appear, like they knew more, they would say quince. Yeah.
Okay. So if they're saying that quince, they get hints of quince, does that mean that it's made with quince?
No. So from fermentation, when wine goes through fermentation, that's when it gets all of its aromas and flavors. And that's in part due to the type of yeast or natural yeast that comes from the grape. Now I'm getting all nerdy. And that's why people will be like, oh, there's like apple, there's lemon, and it's coming from fermentation, not that they're using those actual fruits in the fermentation of the wine.
Okay. So before we even get into this wine stuff, I want to ask you, how are you?
I'm good, I'm all right.
I know T-Dot asked you how your day was earlier today, just a while ago, and I was like, don't answer.
I know. I was trying to be all nice earlier, but he told me to wait to ask or wait to answer.
No, I'm good. I've got my 9:30 lighting going. Like, I don't know if it's you guys, but I'm at the age now, like I prepare for bed.
Mm.
The
It's
lights
like a
come
routine.
down, you know. So this is what's happening.
No, I hear
and
that.
then eventually.
Boom.
So
You got
so
it.
as we're on this stream, we'll see it eventually go down, and then we're like, okay, you know what, guys, it looks like it's time to go.
She's got it set.
No. That won't happen. Oh, but you know what will happen? I forgot to turn it off. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. At 10:15, there's an alarm on my phone that says, Beverly, it's time to go to bed.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's gonna go off at 10:15. I forgot to turn it off. Sorry.
Okay, so you sound like you do long-term planning then.
Man, I do. I feel like when you own your own stuff, you know, like you have to do that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay. Well, I'd like you to introduce yourself to the chat the best way you know how.
oh, this is gonna be very quick. My name is Beverly. Beverly COG
Beverly
on
COG.
Twitch. I'm a certified sommelier through the Court of Masters. The second Black female sommelier in all of Canada. There's not a lot of us, men or female, who are Black and sommeliers. I own a company called Spice Food and Wine Group. What we do is a bunch of events and educational talks. And we talk about wine and we talk about food and wine pairing, but we represent ethnicities and cuisines that are underrepresented when it comes to food and wine pairing, because that's very important. A lot of agencies and wine marketers don't talk to people that look, people of color. I mean, after George Floyd's murder, the Black Reckoning, you'll notice that ads have changed. And some are more meaningful than others. But some, you know, I'm like, Jesus, just stop that. Like, it's best he didn't talk to us at all. But anyhow, so that's what I do. So we'll oftentimes go and take over, for lack of a better term, ethnic restaurants, because ethnic restaurants or ethnic food is not really a valid term when you look at our society today, but I don't have another word for it right now. So we'll take over ethnic restaurants. So Ethiopian, Eritrean, Jamaican, Thai, and we'll pair all that food with wine. We'll have like 5 courses and 6 wines, and just talk about like the flavors and the two and how they go really well, because all you're doing is pairing molecules, right? Like people tell you, oh, well, you can't pair spicy food with wine. It doesn't work. It's because they don't know. They don't know. They don't know. But
Okay.
it's science, just taking molecules and pairing it. So my food can definitely be paired with wine, just the same way that like an Italian meal can, or a Spanish meal can, or a French meal can. And so my thing is to start the conversation and change the narrative around that, because the narrative was put in place during times to kind of have like an us versus them mentality, right? And that's something I can't have. So.
Okay. Okay. So let me just ask you, when you say that, like, what do you mean?
So wine was seen as elitist. It was something that the elite drank, and they made it known as such. It would be in elite circles. And if you were not an aristocrat white person back in the day, you wouldn't be drinking this. Wine was also introduced during the spice route and the slave trade as a commodity, and so too were people. So imagine you were in West Africa, and what would happen is a slave boat would come from Bordeaux, which is like a famed wine region in France, and it would be carrying wine. And the ideal was that they would bring this wine over to the Americas, right, for people there. So the wine would be there, and then they'd come to West Africa to collect commodity, the enslaved, the Africans. And people will be saying things like, well, move the wine out of that part of the hull so you could put more bodies, or you could put more slaves or Africans. So your first recognition of wine is the slave master like taking you away from your land, your family, and enslaving you, right? so wine was seen as like something for them and not me. And it's always been that way. Like if you look at marketing and communications about wine before 2020, you will see that the pictures would just have, you know, Caucasians enjoying a glass of wine and it's so wonderful. And I'm like, that's just this ridiculous, especially when you know wine and you know how good and how lovely wine complements a meal. Like what happens to textures and flavors in your mouth. Like no one should be denied that experience. And so that's what really fuels me to do what I do. So
When you say that, you just remind me of, I just saw the movie Woman King.
Yes.
Did you see it?
Yeah, man. I took my father to watch it with me.
Yeah, so there's a part where they're where one of the soldiers is like walking, drinking some alcohol. And she's like, yeah, this is what we get for the slaves. They bring this for us. We give them the captives.
Yeah.
So when you say that now, it just resonates.
Yeah, it was a true thing.
So, I mean, when we look at, I guess my ultimate question is going to be, so I'll try to tighten it up a little bit, is we know that story just in general is amazing. Like, how did you get to that? What inspired you into wine in the first place? Like I think you said you're like the second Black sommelier.
Female.
Like, so that, I mean, that in itself kind of sounds impressive. Well, yes, right. To get it exactly, but correct. Impressive to me, right? Just as you say it. So how did you get there? And because I love how you're telling the story, but just what inspired that originally to wine?
I was first turned on to wine having dinner with a client.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just he and I was taking him out. This is when I was in sales and marketing. And he was like, Beverly, we're going to have multiple wines at dinner. And I was like, this seems really excessive. It's just you and I. Why are we ordering multiple bottles of wine? But he was from California and drank wine all the time. He was like, I want you to see how this Chardonnay changes this particular dish and how this Cabernet Sauvignon changes that dish. And having him walk me through that whole pairing experience is what I caught the bug. I caught the bug from that. So then I took a lot of wine courses. But when I got serious about wine was when I started to notice, like what I talked about, the descriptors, and people would use words and say things like pomelo. And I'm like, what do you ask is a pomelo? But see, because and I would say things like, oh my gosh, this wine reminds me of black cake. And they'd be like, you can't use that on a test because you would fail. You can't say black cake. But I'm like, but it reminds me of black cake. If you can say pomelo and quince, I can say black cake. Anyhow, so
okay.
After that, I decided I needed to get my PIN. I needed to get certified through the quartermasters because for me to go around and talk about wine and food and wine pairing in a way that most people don't talk about it, I felt you had to show that you had like a piece of paper, right? Mm-hmm. That said, you can talk about these things because you're trained and you're educated in the space. And that's why I got the PIN. At the beginning, I was like, I'm not getting no PIN. I need to validate myself for someone else. But then I was like, Charlie, you need to validate yourself because they're going to say, well, what is she talking about? Why is she pairing that with like jerk chicken or curry? She doesn't know. Right. And so that's why I went and got the PIN and became a certified sommelier.
Is that a long process?
It is. It's an arduous one. Like, have you guys seen like the Netflix documentary, like Psalm and all that crap, where the guy's like, oh, I should probably pour wine in my glass, but they're like, oh, I get, they have to nose it, and then they have to figure out the region, the grade, blah, blah, and talk about that.
That's so fancy, yo.
So it's all that. So there's like a tasting component, then there's like a written theory component, and then a service component. So that is pretty stressful. And I was doing that when I was writing certification, when I was putting on like Canada's very first ethnic food and wine outdoor festival. And I don't know if you put on a festival before, but man, it's tough. It's tough.
I can barely throw a barbecue in my backyard. So festival sounds dope.
Yeah, man, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Junior T played, Johnny Lopez played, and Carl Allen played. We had like a bunch of food and a bunch of wineries. It was wonderful. It was at Stock Market.
Okay, somebody just mentioned that just a while ago.
Oh.
Somebody said something about that.
Yeah, Daryl, just a while ago. This is in May?
Yeah, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
This year, well, 2023, we're doing it at Fort York. So I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah.
Okay, okay. There's a question from one of the people in our chat, Reggae City. He asks, "What is your favorite Riesling?"
Oh dear. It's so hard. People are always like, "What's your favorite this?" And
Mhm.
I really love wine and all wine. But what I can say is my region is German Riesling and dry Riesling from Germany because of that like crazy acidity that it gets in that cool climate. Obviously, it's because the aspect ratio, like the elevation of where the vines generally are and their relation to water. It's a cool region, but great sunlight, so wonderful diurnal shifts, meaning it's hot in the day, cool at night. So the grapes are able to ripen but then keep that acidity. And on the palate, that's just a wonderful experience because you get hit by the acidity, but then you get that right fruit feel on the mouth. So that's like my number one region for Riesling. I will say, because we are here in Ontario, that my favorite Ontario Riesling is the Naja Riesling from Flat Rock. That is some killer stuff. And if you can get their back vintages, so good.
Okay, so I was under the impression that Riesling was specific to Germany.
No, but I'm so impressed that you were you were aware of like that is like the marquee place for it. It's not. Riesling is grown all throughout the world, and we're seeing well, Alsace also amazing for Riesling, and we're seeing wonderful things come out of Australia too for Riesling. But it's all throughout the world.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. I didn't realize that.
Do you guys have wine in your glass? I'm pouring wine.
Not yet.
These guys have never seen me drink wine in my life, and for you, Beverly, I
Let's
got
do it.
wine. Have we ever done this before? We know I can't read little small writing.
What
and
you got
stuff like
there?
that. It's Katina, is it?
Yeah, the Catena.
Katina.
I think that's really good because you have the Catena, which is from Argentina. And then Jay, you have the Vina Chocolat, which is from Chile. So they're separated just by a mountain, right?
Oh yeah.
Both in South America. So it's wonderful to look at the two expressions.
I figured you'd tell the story better. See, you told that story way better than I was just gonna read the bottle. You made that sound. Oh yeah. Oh, see, there's a mountain on the bottle. Great.
And the thing is too, like I wanted you guys to have wines that won't break the bank. Perfect for a Tuesday. Like these are perfect pizza wines also. You see what I did there? See what I did? Perfect pizza wines. And they're delicious. One younger than the other. Both probably retail about the same price. But different winemaking styles.
Okay. So these are available at the LCBO?
Yours, Jay, is not. The Vino Chocolat is not, but the Catena is a vintage essential, and that can be picked up at the LCBO, and it's quite delicious.
It was right at the front. I walked in. I was about to have to ask somebody, and I remember you said essentials, and I looked, and I was like, "Oh, damn, it's right there. Perfect. Done."
Yeah. It should always be in stock.
Did you spill, Fitz?
I didn't spill.
You made a mess. You broke the cork. Oh, that's okay.
I was gonna ask if there was a specific way that you can avoid breaking corks.
You should have called the butler guy.
He's busy.
The concierge. Concierge would open that for you.
He's busy.
No, he's never too busy.
Yes, BK sweetness. Yes, pure South American things. But then I also.
What are you drinking? Yes, what do you have?
The rosé as well. Only because this is all I had of Steve's wines with me. Steve Byfield makes this wine. It's Narai Cellars, and he's the only Black winemaker we have in Canada. And I was like, really? I can't talk about wine here and not give you Steve's wine. So you have this as well.
Yes, you did. So this is Steve Byfield, and the name of the can you say the name, please?
Narai.
No, I was gonna say this bad. Thank you for Wow. I would have never said Narai.
Maybe you would have.
No,
Believe
no,
in
no,
yourself.
no. No, rye wasn't coming out of my mouth. No, rye was
Believe
not
in
coming out of
yourself.
my mouth. Mm-mm.
Guy, you got to be professional. You're pouring like you can't pour half the bottle, guy.
Okay,
We're trying to be
so-
professional right now, guy.
All right, so I pour. Is this enough to pour?
Cindy Milo is telling you to like look at the legs and swirl it. She's right. But you know what? People, I'm gonna give you guys like a tip right now. People look at wine and they look at the legs and like, oh, look at the legs. It's so good. It's gonna be a good wine. But legs does not tell you if the wine is gonna be good. That's
The
bullshit.
legs.
Yeah. But you
What-
see what I mean by legs, right? Like you see like thick little viscous lines coming down your glass.
Okay.
He doesn't see it. He's lying.
No. Yeah.
He's
Yeah?
lying.
So,
Yeah.
and if you guys are listening and drinking wine, you swirl too and see if you can see it. But what that tells you is a couple of things. So, alcohol evaporates slower than water. So, if I see lines like that, I'm like, this could be an elevated alcohol wine. Also, if it's a sweet wine, because sugar as well will evaporate slower. I'm laughing at the comments. It could be like a high sugar wine. And then if it's a white wine and you see that, it could be because it's a thick skinned grape. So that's what legs tells you. It doesn't mean the wine is good, but it gives you an indication of what kind of wine you're going to be having. Anyways, cheers, you guys.
Cheers to you.
Everybody, cheers in the chat. Cheers in the chat. If you got some sort of wine glass of or something like that, put it up in the chat.
Is anybody drinking wine in the chat? I want to see.
Let's see. What are y'all drinking in the chat?
Someone just said that you've never seen that in Heineken.
Don't listen to these people. Don't listen to these people.
Oh my God, this is hilarious.
You guys, Cindy Milo, watch trouble now.
Oh dear.
Y'all should have known to get the wine tonight.
So let me see your glass, Beverly. Let me see your glass.
She's got proper. I got like 2 types of wine glasses in my house. I gotta buy more wine glasses.
So your glass is big, right?
Yeah, it's a red wine glass. Yeah.
See how she said that to you, guy? She's like, it's a red wine glass, bro.
Okay, so
like, bro, like, come on. What else is it?
The first time I ever seen a really big wine glass was on a Thursday night when I'm watching Scandal.
Oh yeah. Olivia Pope. I had Olivia Pope glasses and they all broke.
Yeah, they couldn't fit in the washing machine, the dishwasher.
No, I hand washed them, but they were just so like fine and then like just I washed them too hard.
I had never seen big wine glasses before Olivia Pope, and I was like, "This is crazy. This lady has a drinking problem."
No, it's so you'll have like a bigger glass for your red wine, so the bouquet gets a chance to be exposed.
Okay.
So you generally have like a bigger bowl for that, and so when you swirl, it gives enough surface area for the wine to go around to open up that bouquet.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah, because sometimes red wine will have a bit more complexity than white wine, and so you really want to have space for that to swirl to get the aromas out there. How do you guys feel about the wine?
I like it.
I like this one.
Good.
I like it.
Yeah, they're both great wines.
I like it. So what made you?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You go.
I was gonna. What should I be tasting in this wine? Tell me, like, what should like
anything? So it's Cabernet Sauvignon. So you're going to get like red and black fruit. You'll get some herbaceous notes. Both of you will get this in your wine, and I'll tell you what the difference is because it's the same grape. A lot of herbaceousness. A lot of bell pepper. But in South America, that green note can come off smelling like jalapenos, like a warmer green note. You'll get some anise. You'll get maybe some leather, some chocolate, dark chocolate as well on that. But both of those are really finely balanced. Now the Catena Tita that you're drinking, they're like, oh, this can age for 10 to 20 years, but I don't think so because it doesn't have as much acidity and tannin. Like I think you could probably lay it down for 5 and be okay, but if you're doing 10 to 20, that's not going to be good. But the Vino Chocolat that you have, that can age. The acidity on that bad boy is wonderful. It's balanced. The fruit's awesome. Both wines are amazing. But see, this is the thing when you understand like wine, like these two are under $20 retail.
Okay, so this is pizza wine.
Yeah, 100%. But really good wine, and you wouldn't be embarrassed sharing that with someone. Yours is vegan, hand-picked, organic, biodynamic, all that stuff, sustainable. Yours, T-Dot, comes from a family who were the actual ones to put Malbec on the map here internationally. So it's a very famous family. Female winemaker, co-winemaker as well, who's also the daughter of the family. So you both have really wonderful wines with you.
Okay, so mine is a Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yeah.
His is
Cabernet Sauvignon as well.
Okay, but his comes from a family that made Malbec popular.
Correct, because Argentina is like the space that people think of when they think of Malbec is Argentina. Oh. And that particular family were the ones that kind of perfected like a beautiful Malbec and all the export marketing and so on. They were the ones who really championed all of that. Yours is from a family that they have massive vineyards and used to sell their wines to producers, and they decided to make their own wine. So they're a little newer, smaller in scale in terms of wine production, but their practices are pristine.
Okay. So now they used to have the grapes.
Yeah, and they would sell them. Yeah.
Okay, so they weren't necessarily making wine before, but now they said, okay, let's just make our own wine.
100%. Yeah.
So I guess that makes sense.
So now them doing that, does it so do they make as good a wine as the people that they sell their grapes to?
I want to say that bottle's pretty impressive.
I mean, okay. This is a Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yeah.
The only other Cabernet Sauvignon that I've tasted that I like, that I could stand by for myself at least, is one that I've called that's called Bread and Butter.
Oh dear. I shouldn't say that.
And I was afraid that I was gonna say that, and you're gonna be like, what?
All right. Here's a little secret about wine.
This guy got his wine at No Frills, guy.
So, it's fine. Everybody has like their own particular taste, and I think that's fine. You're gonna buy what you enjoy, and that's what you should do. But some wines, if you notice, they taste the same year after year, and it shouldn't, because it's farming, right? So the grape is going to be impacted by climates and winemaking and what tools and resources you have available to you. So it shouldn't taste the same year after year. But if the wines are tasting the same year after year and they're following a recipe, that means in order to get that recipe to come to fruition, they have to use other chemicals and put it into the wine to make sure it tastes the way it should taste according to this book of recipes. So Bread and Butter, not all of their wines.
Saying their wine tastes the same all the time.
But some of their wines will have added things put into it to make it taste that way.
Well, I'm learning.
But you know what?
I've only had 65 wines.
You're not alone. A lot of people love that brand.
Okay, so I guess let's debunk another one. Because I was crip walking to the Snoop Dogg wine. It's like, it's like, why did I stay up with this?
This man's not a wine drinker.
You know what? You know what? In all honesty, in all fairness, I've not tried. It's called 19 Crimes, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've not tried the wine, and I should actually try it before I pass judgment. I can't say.
You don't have to.
No,
Because
I'm going to
even when I
try
look
it.
at this, right? The
Yeah.
color,
The
it
legs
looks natural.
looks natural.
Oh, she said good night.
Oh, it's her alarm.
She said good night. She said, "Oh, enough of this Snoop Dogg and bread and butter." She got. I work in the morning.
That was the alarm saying, "Oh, Beverly, it's time to go to bed." I'm back now. Okay, let me ask you guys a question, right?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
You guys love music. When you drink these wines, does a genre or a song come to mind? Like, what does it remind you of? Like, take a sip, close your eyes, and tell me what song does this remind you of?
Okay.
You go first, Vince.
I don't. I see John B.
Okay.
I don't know why that popped in my head, but I tasted it and I seen John B.
Like a slow song from John B or an up-tempo song from John B?
They don't know.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, man, I know it. Yeah.
Mhm.
They don't know, but I know. I know that song.
I didn't get anything. My brain
What?
doesn't click. My brain doesn't go well. I was thinking slow song, but I didn't get to a specific song. But it was a slow jam, and it wasn't upbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So I
Before
have the Catena in my glass, and it's reminding me of like Nadia Davenport,
Yeah. Okay.
all right.
right? Like brand new heavies, like because it's got depth, but it's smooth. You know, like you
That's
just
what
want
she
to.
said.
It's like head bobbing, like you just want to. You know, when you hear brand new heavies, you're like, yeah, it gets a nice vibe. That's what I get from this.
Which one are you drinking?
He's drinking the Katina.
Yeah.
We're drinking.
Yeah, that's only because I made a stew today, and that was the one that was going to go better with the stew.
This went in your stew. Nice.
No, I was drinking it with the
With. I understand. Yes, we're on the same page now.
Okay. So then this will go good with the one I have here will also go good with my soup? Or is soup and stew two different things? Is that what you're saying?
No. Yours, because of that acidity, can do so much. Like, and the funny thing is the Catena is more known than the one that you have, Fitz, but that's like the little engine that could. Like, it could do so much with food. I don't know. I'm Guyanese, so we make something called cook-up rice, right? And so, like, that with cook-up rice, amazing.
Yeah?
Yeah, like, or if you're trying to add pilau, like that one.
Okay, I was going to ask you, is that the same as pilau?
Yeah. So good.
Or if you were Naja or Ghanaian, would it be, what do they call it? Jollof. Is it jollof?
Yeah. I find that wine, because it's got like a little bit of oak treatment and like luscious red and black fruit on the palate and great acidity, does so well with one pot dishes, like foods that have like meat and rice and spice and la.
Mhm.
So
interesting. So do people look at you like you're crazy in the black community when you're coming with the wines like this? Like, oh, have this wine with your jerk chicken. I was reading on your thing. When you're bringing that stuff to people, do people like look at you wild, or are they open to it? Because like I'm like, oh shit, I gotta try some stuff right now.
no, they're open to it. Who looks at me crazy is people who have been teaching wine for years, or like the old guard. Yeah. I did a media lunch, and I invited a master sommelier and someone who was high up in wines in Niagara. And we were doing a curry lamb, and I pulled out a Cabernet Sauvignon from South Africa, and they were like, are you sure about this? Because you would never take Cabernet Sauvignon according to school and what you're taught and pair that with curry. But I did that because that Cabernet Sauvignon was aged in oak, and oak imparts things like nutmeg and clove and allspice to a wine. And what's in curry powder?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So
Right,
now what
bada
you're
bing.
doing is exactly. It's a lovely congruent pairing. You've got sameness happening, and they're like, "This is amazing, Beverly. This is so good."
Mhm.
I'm like, well, yes. You just got to trust the process.
Real.
Okay, so a cab sav from I'm here with nicknames now. The cab sav. So a cab sav from South Africa, cab sav from Chile, right?
Yeah.
How do they differ?
Oh, that's a really good question, actually. That's a very good question. Tina's like,
No. Good one.
and they will differ because climate is different, access to water is different. So they're both warm climates, but the amount of climate influences that happen in Chile will make the Chilean Cabernet Sauvignon Blanc, Cabernet Sauvignon, sorry, taste like it came from a cool climate because it's got water and then the mountains and all that stuff is protecting it from like the hot heat and sun. Whereas South African Cabernet Sauvignon will taste like a warm climate wine. You can definitely get like the sun and the heat and the heavy ripening to it, although it is close to water, and although they've got vines that are on like steep elevation, they don't have all of the things that will protect it from the heat as much as Chile would. So Chile, it's a warm climate, which is what makes Chilean wine so interesting. Warm climate, but it's got everything in there to make it taste like a cool climate wine, which is awesome.
Okay.
Good answer for the good question. I'm learning. So let's pretend somebody's listening to this. A couple people watch the show. So let's pretend there's a couple people here and that they're like, all right, she makes me kind of want to think about wine. What do you tell somebody maybe newish to wine? Like, how do you get them started? Like, what do they go do tomorrow if they want to get into learning about wine?
Yeah, that's also a really good question.
Team.
I generally ask people what they like to eat and what flavors they like. You know, do you like coffee? Do you put milk in your coffee? Do you put any sugar in your coffee? You know, those types of things. So then I get a sense of their palate, and then from there I can recommend, you know, you should be drinking this. I think you would like this, or you would like that. I guaranteed if I drank wine with you one time and saw your reaction to certain wines, I would get an understanding of what your palate is and what you should drink. I will say to people who are just getting into wine, because you don't want to like break the bank as you're exploring to see if you really like this thing. So there are some wine regions I would tell folks to go and take a look at when they go into the LCBO, and I would tell them to go to the vintages section just for safety.
Vintages.
Yeah.
Speak to us about vintages, please. Like, so we can, like, for someone who doesn't know anything about vintages, what does that mean?
So those are the more premium wines versus the stuff that appears on the generalist list, which is the other wines, regular part of the store. But even though I say premium, it doesn't mean super expensive. And so that's why I would tell people who are just exploring to look at Portugal, look at Spain, look at South America, sorry. Nice. Because those wine regions, labor, good or bad, labor is a lot cheaper there. Cost of goods are a lot cheaper there. And so what you get in this bottle, you know, if it was an American wine, I can't even see where my camera. If it was an American wine,
I got you.
Yes, if it was an American wine, you're probably looking at $27. But coming from South America, you're looking at $19. And the one you have fits. I mean, I got it from an agent, but I would say based on the agency price, that this would probably retail for $17. And drinks, like it's like a $25.
Yeah. I really like it. Actually, really like it.
So you just have to understand, like, if you go to those regions, you're going to get some really wonderful wines that are very affordable. In the LCBO, it's not odd to find Portuguese wines. in vintages for under $15. Pick them up, try them, explore, see if you like
That's
the
what
flavors, and then note what it is that you like about the flavors, and then ask a wine friend like me, if I like this, what else would I like?
Oh, we're wine friends. That's
Yeah, exactly.
right.
Listen, my
So-
friends call me all the time from the LCBO, like Beverly and the LCBO. What should I get? And
Oh,
I'm
God.
happy to take those
Okay,
calls.
watch out now. Watch out now. All right, we got a question for the chat from the chat, or another one. But before I pop it up, or I'm going to pop it up. But before we answer, big plug first of all.
Okay.
I'm going to throw out a big plug. So Denise Jojo is asking what a good wine for a Sunday afternoon would be, and this is to preface it, hopefully, Denise Jojo, with this Sunday on Easy Like Sunday Morning with DJ Che La Soul. We're going to have Easy Like Sunday Morning, possibly afternoon, depending on traffic, in Barrie.
Oh,
Live
oh,
on location.
okay.
We're going to have a little bit of we did it once with a few mods live in Barrie, and we're going to do it again. I'm just going to try to duplicate it. Denise Jojo, or Beverly, whatever you tell us, maybe Denise Jojo might have that ready for us. And like I said, just so you know, I do like this wine. It tasted wonderful. I am a Cab Sav sort of guy. But that's my plug. There's the question. What do you say is a good wine for a Sunday afternoon with DJ Che La Soul, some Jay-Z? And Che's like he was doing good up until then. Anyways.
So, two things I would say. One, in a group setting, I would pick wines that are have like a mass and wide appeal. So Pinot Noirs are really lovely because they're light. Cabernet Franc, Gamay are really lovely because they're light. Gruner Veltliner, Riesling, those are wonderful wines. But I've listened to Che La Soul's show often, and I'm just closing. And for his show, I mean, if I was coming, I would be bringing, I would be bringing Pinot Grigio. No one rolled their eyes at me because Pinot Grigio can have like a bad effect on some people. Like, I don't like Pinot Grigio, whatever. But I'm bringing Pinot Grigio from a really good producer, northeast Italy, like from Alto Adige. Like that's what I'm bringing, with some like viscosity and great fruit and some tropical notes, but depth and complexity. Like the kind of thing that you're gonna drink it and you're gonna be like, yes, I'm in my feelings right now. Because Che La Soul, like his vibe on the show kind of does that. Like I find I'm at home cooking on Sunday and I'm like I'm moving with what's happening. And so that is the wine I would
You're
bring.
stepping with Che La Soul. All right.
Yeah.
Is that Pinot Grigio? Is that a sweet wine or is that not a sweet wine?
Dry. It's a dry wine.
Dry wine.
Yeah. Is that okay for you?
It's fine for me. Like I guess everything has its.
Don't worry,
has
he's
its
not going to be
moods.
there. Don't worry about him. He ain't going to be there.
My god. Priscilla in the 6, what up with you?
Get close. Right, people. There's a lot of people here. Let's take a hot second and say hi to some people. Fave, hi Fave. So you got your list, Fave. I hope you were taking notes. Tadao, Trouble,
That boy Jer.
Channel 9. Thank you again for the raid, sir. Christy Ray fam, what up? Oh, look at that. 6 Boss comes up. Priscilla comes up like right at the top. Look at that, Priscilla. Good morning.
DJ Che La Soul said Stag's Leap. They have some expensive wines. I didn't know DJ Che La Soul was rolling like that.
Stag's Leap.
I want to drink wine with Che La Soul.
I mean,
What's a Stag's Leap?
Oh, it's a winery in California.
Where are they located? Are they in Napa?
Yes.
Oh,
that's a good guess, man. I guess that would probably be that would be.
No, well, she said that it's an expensive. She's acting like it's an expensive wine, so I'm figuring if it's an expensive wine from California, it must be from Napa Valley because that's where I believe the expensive wines from California come from.
IQ Remix, I got this. Well, it's wine's considered the liquor, right? So wine before beer is okay. Beer before wine, no good. That's the way I got it.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not trying. I'm not experimenting.
Is it wine before beer all clear?
I don't know. Quite interesting. Okay, tell me about this spice, food, and wine. Your group. Tell us a little bit more. You touched on it, but I don't think you like truly hit us with what is that. Everything about that. Tell us a little more.
Yeah, I mean, it was formed because I wanted an org to do like these food and wine pairing events under that represents cuisines that people don't often speak about when it comes to food and wine pairing, period. Like in class, they're always talked about European cuisine and how to pair that with wine. And actually also you're tested on that too. They'll say things like, you've got a gamay. What are you going to pair the gamay with? And I'd be like, well, I'm thinking I would pair that with, some sauce. But you can't write down sauce. All right. Now I gotta go, okay, well, what would the Europeans pair it with? Okay, but that's not what I would pair it with. And if you look at Canada's demographics, right? So
I shouldn't write sauce down in too many spots, but still, it is what it is.
I love sauce.
Shout out.
Sauce can be very divisive, but I love me some sauce. And like that, the sticky fingers and the sticky lips that you get. I love sauce. Anyhow, when you look at the demographics of Canada, I think the Stats Can statistic is by 1930, like more than 50% of Canada will be made up of people who recognize themselves as being a person of color, whether that be like you're Asian or you're from the Caribbean or you're African.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's absolutely okay for me to say this would pair with sauce because that's the market. Like, why are you making wine if not to sell it? Yeah. And if I could only say the gamay can be paired with pork chops, I love pork chops too. But I'm not speaking to the people who have the buying power anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what Spice Food and Wine Group is about. It's about just highlighting and representing cuisines. And also we touch a lot on food origin versus food ownership, which is a very big thing. Someone yesterday was like, Beverly, I found a company that's making pylori, but they call it puffs. And he's like, they have chocolate puffs, cinnamon puffs. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, it's the pylori, but they put chocolate. See? Ownership versus origin, right? Like, anyway.
No. Yeah.
Those sound like Timbits.
No, but not. It has like it's like they took like pylori mix. Maybe they made the pylori from scratch. I don't know. But take pylori mix and then you make the pylori, but then you put a little chocolate drizzle. BK Sweetness is like, what? No, exactly.
People buying that up, though. People were probably buying it up.
Yeah. My friend said it was a massive lineup.
Yeah. Ugh. Anyways, yeah. Okay.
So you had an event quite recently.
Yeah. We did a dinner at a Guyanese fusion restaurant. Okay, the owner says he's not a Guyanese restaurant, but he is Guyanese. His father's Guyanese. And from time to time, I would
ownership.
They would have pepper pots on the menu, and I'm like, if you're gonna put pepper pots on the menu, I'm calling you Guyanese. I'm a West Indian, and we like to claim things. So I'm like, this is a Guyanese restaurant. He's like, it's not Guyanese, Beverly. It's just like a restaurant.
Just
like
a restaurant.
Christmas time, he has garlic pork on the menu. I'm like, this is a Guyanese restaurant. Anyhow. His father is Guyanese, so we went to his restaurant, we took it over, and he did a killer 6-course menu, and we paired that all with wine.
What's the name of the event series?
Oh, Fall Into Spice. So, thank you. You should be on my marketing. we do. So
we're here every Tuesday.
Fall Into Spice happens in the fall, and then Spring Into Spice happens in the
spring.
Yes. And so Spring Into Spice is when we do the outdoor food and wine festival. happens in the spring. But for the fall, we just do a couple of dinners at restaurants. I'm super excited. The one we're doing in November is at the Chef's House, George Brown. So I'm working with them and their students. And what I've done is I've given them 5 cuisines that represent the cultures and the diversity of Canada. And I said, come up with 5 courses for these 5 cuisines. And then I asked them to put something in each meal, each food, each dish that is known as Canadian. And so this time we're using ice wine. So the students are super excited. I mean, they're working obviously with the executive chefs from the school. They're not just like making food. They're working with people, you know, who know what's happening. But the students are so excited to do this because they have a lot of international students who are there at Chef's House. And so one of the things is a Jamaican dish. And so there's some Jamaican students who are like, I can't wait to show you how to make proper jerk chicken, how I make jerk chicken at home. So now the students are kind of in control with, of course, governance from the executive chefs. So yeah. But that's going to be a killer one because to me, doing this is great for conversation about diversity and culture and so on. But I also want to make sure I'm propelling like the students and those that are coming up so that their voice can be heard and with everything that I do at any point that I do something. Because that means a lot. You know, when I'm in spaces for wine, I'm often the only Black person. And at times I will notice that myself, I will step back as opposed to just be myself and, you know, and I'm like, if myself, and I think I'm someone who is very confident in who they are. And if in that space, when you're the only one, I step back, think about the kids, right? Who are coming up to go into those spaces. So anything that I can do to make them more confident going into that space or that space more welcoming, I'm going to do. So the George Brown event, I'm super, super excited. And sometimes when I talk about that event, like I get teary-eyed with all the kids because it just means a lot.
Let me ask you about this event. Is the menu for that already like set in stone, complete? Like done?
Yes.
He had something.
There's no like sliding in a little vegan thing. So
oh no, they will have like vegan versions.
Oh,
and they will take care and support any kind of dietary restrictions. But the main menu is done. But absolutely, you know, obviously vegans are welcome. Clearly.
Obviously, like we don't want to exclude the vegans, bro.
Right?
Don't worry. Vegan,
oh my god!
come on.
That word one more time.
It's all about
that word one more
bro.
time. Oh my god!
So I don't know if I.
Chocolate pepper pot.
Oh man! So on stop.
Oh.
I'm not called. Oh, these people. Don't mind the people in this chat. My goodness. So it says here that you are a founding member of. I'm going to go with Vinequity. Vinequity. You say it. Vinequity.
Yeah.
Can you also tell us more about that? Because it seems
Nice play
like
on
you
words.
said, I mean,
Nice.
right? See how she did that, right?
Yeah, it's almost like couture.
Boom.
Good. Good one. All right.
So I'm one of 7 females of color who are in wine that founded Vinequity. Vinequity is a not-for-profit, a Canadian not-for-profit that supports people of color who want to get into wine and spirits and beer into that industry. We support them through mentorship. So we hook them up with people who are well-versed and well on in their career in the industry, and also through scholarship. Because getting a wine education or a spirits education can be expensive. Not just the courses, but buying the material, like the wine. Like you have to have like a bunch of tasting wine. It's highly expensive. So we support them in that sense as well. So our whole thing, like I talk a lot about cognitive diversity, and because I'm in wine and wine is my career, it's important to me that it has as many elements to stay around as long as possible. And cognitive diversity is what helps to do that, because you get people who think differently because their backgrounds are different. And then it just elevates an industry. So Vinequity is all about ensuring we can do that and have different voices around the table And so as I talked to you earlier about marketing, you're going to have the right people around the table to talk about marketing, how they're going to speak to, Canada's changing society.
So how, with that comment on changing society, in the time that you've been in wine, wine, I mean, it's broad. I mean, it's broader than you think, I guess, right? Like the way that you're explaining it, it does it. Like you're explaining it. You explain it in the way that I explain basketball to people, right? Like to me, like I love basketball growing up. It's something that I've always done. So when I'm talking basketball, it's like this little, like the little small stuff that only certain people would understand. Right?
Segue here. Who's the basketball team that just hired their own sommelier? My friend was like, Beverly, I heard a basketball team hired a sommelier. You should call the Raptors.
You should. Well, all right, here. Let me use my TV voice. Toronto. Shout out to the Toronto Raptors. Let's go Raptors. We have Beverly Crandon here. Wonderful sommelier. She is ready to select wines for you and fill wines with your breakfast, with your lunch, with your dinner. And
jump shot.
After the show, it's the after party. Anytime you need the wine, that's right. She's gonna a little post up. She can give you some wine, little hook shot. She got you some wine. Let's go Raptors. Bev is here.
Maybe send this to them. Maybe I'll get the job.
Right. Well. I mean, here we go. I mean, that's what we're marketing. Yes, definitely not the Celtics. Boo. Oh, wait. What happened? Did I ask what happened with my question? Did I ask what? Yes. Yes. Wait.
Yeah.
Over time. So in wine, over time, how has it changed since you've been in wine? So we talk about inclusion and all these different things. Is it, or how is it different? I'll leave it at that. No leading questions.
It's still too early to say. I see people wanting to do the right things. I see people making efforts and taking steps to do the right thing. But I think it's still too soon to say. The promising thing, especially through Benequity, I see this. I see Benequity's been around for 2 years now, a little over 2 years. Mm-hmm. And I'm seeing students who applied for scholarship for level 1 or level 2 come back again and apply for scholarship for level 3 or level 4 or for certification, which means
you can get a scholarship in wine.
Yes.
That's dope. Like, well, yeah. I mean, because I didn't know that. I don't know how many people up in here knew that. If I did a poll and asked if they can get, scholarship in wine, they'd probably say, nah, way. Maybe. I don't know. So sorry. I'm just learning stuff.
Well, so these are for institutions that aren't collegiates per se, but like Court of Masters or IWEG and that type of thing. So I'm seeing the students like progress in their education, which means I'm hoping that in the end, we're going to see more diverse faces around the table. But I will also say this. There is something that's stopping a lot of our students from taking jobs and positions in some of these companies. Even though they're very qualified and they've done the education and they're wonderful people, great people skills, all the things that you want in an employee. Mm-hmm. But they still feel, oh, I don't think I'm ready. Oh, I don't know about that. Oh,
it's them feeling they're not ready.
100%. 100%. So like Benequity, it's great. Don't get me wrong, because now we're providing support for all kinds of people who want to be in wine. But there's something like people have had 20 years of conditioning. Of their life. Absolutely, when you feel maybe that space isn't for me. You see? So there's more than just money and mentorship. And I don't have the secret sauce or the recipe for that. Right. But there's a lot of work that needs to be done to make sure we can have a more diverse, industry. And I'm very much so aware of that.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You'd have to be in it to know it. That's crazy.
So it's them getting the education, them being prepared, but then not feeling like mentally ready to be in that space.
Yeah, I mean, the space could appear as daunting. And plus, you don't see a lot of people that look like you. There's not a lot of people of color in senior positions in wine businesses and organizations, right? Like it's a lot of white males in those positions. And so until like there's a first, you know, people don't see that. That's for them. Like when you're picking your career, like you generally want you fashion yourself oftentimes after someone you've seen or something you want to emulate or someone you can relate with. And if you don't see any of you in those spaces, you're thinking, I don't know if I want to be the first. And so I thought about like maybe we need to do like more education for people who manage and run those spaces and how to make it welcoming. But I mean, I don't know the answer. But yeah.
You know, I'm reading a book right now, and it's about emotions, right? And you know, they talk about you know, the different types of intelligence, right? And then there's the emotional intelligence that they don't teach in school. So like you get education on a lot of other intelligences, but emotional intelligence is not something that is taught. That's something that we just have to learn as we navigate life. And as you speak right now, it just brings me back to like one of the passages that I was in today, and it just sounds like very relevant. Like this person's talking about like we don't know how to navigate certain things, and when we come up against things, we don't emotionally know how to deal with them or how to get into them, you know. And right now you're saying like people are educated, but they're just not like they're not ready. Like they don't see themselves as ready to get into it. And you're saying you don't know
they're ready.
You don't know if we should be educating the people that are hiring, or do we educate the people that are applying for the positions to get them emotionally ready for a situation like this?
Yeah, and then what would training like that look like? Like, I think if you could figure out the training for something like that, you would be a millionaire.
Okay,
well, we're going to get with the Raptors and we're going to do a book on you. We're going to write a book about you. All right, so here we go. All right, ready, everybody? I'm going to do my TV voice again. We're going to write down everything that Beverly has done to get to where she is now. We're going to bottle that shit up. And that's what we're going to do. And that's how we're going to make more sommeliers. Done. Periods. Simple. Easy. Breezy. Done. And Fitz will make a couple videos about it because he's amazing with all making everything fancy and stuff. It'd be great. I don't know about the pause there, Denise Jojo. Did I miss something? You should have hit me with a, you know, anyways.
So Six Boss, the book is called The Language of Emotions. That's what the book is called.
Okay. Hardest question so far. And what do you do? I mean, I dare to say, what do you do when you're not drinking wine? But then you're going to tell me that I can, you know, you can drink wine with eggs Benedict and stuff like that. So what do you do when you're not maybe tuned in thinking about wine? How do you relax? Is there a way to relax without wine? I don't know. Now I'm thinking about it. Maybe you get the gist of my question. When you're not whining, what are you doing?
Most recently, I guess since the pandemic, yoga. Yeah. Like
that's totally new to you? Well, since the pandemic, as you say?
I mean, I'm not new to yoga. I would have taken a class here or there, but now it is habitual that yoga is something that I do. Obviously, it's great for dexterity and flexibility, but it's also great when they hold those poses for so long, just for thinking and just like for centering yourself. So,
how's your lotus pose?
Did you ask me to do it?
No. I said, how is?
She's like, enough. I'm out. I got enough.
See what time is it?
She said,
"You got light gonna go off again?" Peppa.
Oh, boy. Oh, man. Oh, man. Don't mind me. Oh, okay. All right. So
don't worry, Chase. Not just you.
Yoga. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, tell me more about you guys. What do you guys like to drink? Do you drink wine or do you drink something else? Well, T-Dot, someone said reference Heineken in you. Is that,
I mean,
is that your drink?
I'm drinking Heineken, or if I'm not drinking Heineken, then I'm having a nice red wine, or what I believe to be a nice red wine.
Nice.
That's my backup usually. So
for me, I drink wine
he just drinks champagne, guy.
on Tuesday nights.
He just pops bottles every day.
Oh, I'm drinking more with you then. I like to pop champagne, but I can't afford that.
No,
He
no,
can.
yeah,
That's why you gotta hang with him.
Che.
That's why.
Drink with Che.
No, hang with Fitz. Yo.
Drink with Che.
I know I've gained 2 new drinking buddies tonight.
No, so I drink wine on Tuesday evenings, and that is a result of this show. Before this show, wine is not something that I would partake. You know, I remember when I used to go to a club back in the days, and I was just either like drinking beer or a Hennessy, right? And I used to see women drinking red wine in the club. And I'm like, how in the hell are you drinking red wine in the club? Because I'm like, if I drink red wine, I'm knocked out. Like that's quick drunk. Right there. So that's quick drunk. So I'm like, man, these women are like bosses. But anyways, yeah, I couldn't manage it. But now, since I've done this show, started doing this show, I've started drinking wine.
Nice.
And I'm getting used to the cab saves, right? The ones that were rosés were what I really liked, right? But then I started getting used to the red wines and started getting an appreciation for them. And then now I no longer like the one that I used to like because you made up your face about it.
Oh dear.
No more bread and butter. He's done. He used to drink bread and butter every like 3rd episode, guys. Go drink bread and butter.
I'm so sorry.
But I do like a nice sparkling wine though.
Yeah.
I do like a nice sparkling wine.
Nothing like that. T-Dot, so do you drink beer? Is beer like your go-to? I'm only asking because I have some incredible wines that I think you would love if your palate is one that gravitates to beer. All right.
What I'm usually drinking. Hit me up with any recommendations. I am open.
Yeah.
I think I love red wine, but that's only because when I was younger, I drank like the Kanai and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, right, you know, when I was like 16 drinking Kanai, it gave me headaches all the time and I threw up. So I never drank white wine again. That's all I remember. Now in my older age, when I got back to wine, I seem to like red, but I'm sure that you can find me something across all different types of grapes that I might like in certain places. But I've learned, I used to dabble. I go to wineries. I go to Niagara every now and then. All right. I go to, I'll have a tasting. I'll grab a flight, stuff like that. But I'm learning. You just got like I said, I dabble, but I ain't trying to, I ain't trying to communicate on too high of a level. I'm just saying, one day there was a guy. Sometimes it's also good fits. Like I went just to a random, I was at a winery in Niagara and I was just like, let me try this. And the guy behind the bar was just perfect. Right. Hey, do this. Hey, you like what? Try this. And I've been to a couple of wineries and tastings, but sometimes it's just perfect to get that guy or that person that just speaks to you on a level that makes you understand it a little bit, right? Like, hey, do you smell that? Oh shit, I do smell that. And he's like, no, tilt it this way. Do you smell that? And I'm like, shoot, I do. And he just took the time. It was just, I wasn't on a tour. It was just the guy that was, doing the, hey, try a tasting. Here you go. So
that's good. And he didn't use words like quince and pomelo.
Yeah, even I'm sure he used some good, but he used it in a way, right?
He said sauce and nutmeg.
You
smell the sauce?
Right. Can you taste that? Can you taste that?
Oh my goodness. Oh, you guys are hilarious. Just last week I used Guinnep in the tasting.
Stop it.
Yeah, Guinnep. I did completely because wine is
that's what y'all call it. That's what y'all call it there too. I'm just checking because in different places, they call it different things. in Jamaica, it's Guinness. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
representing. But other parts of the world, they call it some different shit. I'm just
Yeah, no, we
throwing
call
it
it
out.
Guinness.
Well, there's nothing else to call it, is all I'm saying. But whatever.
So when you were serving the Guinness, did they have to break it themselves, or did you have it like opened up and fleshed and
What's a good wine for
filleted
Guinness?
and-
No, what? Sorry, I'm gonna cut you. I don't try to cut you off. Never. What's a good wine with Guinness?
Oh God. I would do a Gruner Veltliner probably with Guinness.
Ooh.
You know, it'll be interesting to try is like a Gewürztraminer with Guinness as well. I think that might be interesting to try.
I think we're onto something here. We're onto
Yeah.
something.
Can you say those words again, please?
Gruner Veltliner. Is it sexy when I say it? Gewürztraminer. Does that work? I'm like, because if it works, it's good advice for me.
I mean, you know, the funny thing is it wasn't, and then you asked if it was, and I was like, shit. Yeah. God damn it, it is.
Gruner Veltliner.
Yeah, with some Guinness. All right.
In
I gotta
Worcestershire.
write that down.
Worcester.
Everybody write that down in the chat. If you're here, write that down. That's what we're having with our
Nobody
Guinness.
can write it
Right.
down. Nobody's going to be able to write it down.
No,
Gruner
but you just,
Veltliner.
you know, sometimes when you type shit in Google, it helps you, right? Actually, I got no
Oh,
chance.
did you mean Gruner Veltliner?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yes, I did.
Tadal 55, I don't know this show. What's it? This Crushed Grapes? Is it
Yes.
a movie?
Sour grapes. He meant sour grapes.
Oh.
Don't listen to anything these two say when they're saying it together. Oh, he did mean sour grapes. That's funny. That's even more funny.
Veltliner. Okay, is it Veltliner?
I'm typing it.
Okay, thank you.
Oh boy.
Okay,
Gruner. Wow. Wow. Okay.
Gruner
So,
Veltliner.
Everybody,
So this is
that's
from
what we're
Germany.
having with it. That's what we're having
Germany?
with the Guinness.
Where's this from?
Austria.
That's what I meant.
I mean, if you throw the dart at the map, maybe it probably lands there instead of the other place. Oh, jeez.
Oh my God. You guys are making me laugh.
Well, that's a good thing. Well, especially now that we're into the wine. So, you know what? I've been wanting to ask this for about 30 minutes. You mentioned wanting to wine with the Raptors. Are you a sports fan? Do you like the Raptors, or is it the wine that you want to bring to the Raptors? I'm trying to figure that out. You can enhance their lives with wine. Like you can bring more championships with wine, or do you just want the Raptors to win championships? Which one is it?
I was just looking for another.
She's like, "What's a Raptor?" All right, so cut this part.
Okay,
Everybody,
I'm not
cut
that
this
bad.
part this part from the resume and the cover letter.
Definitely not that bad. Am I a sports fan? You know what I watch now because of my dad is golf. Like
Mm.
and it's not like nothing to do with Tiger Woods, just like hanging out with my dad more now. Like he watches golf all the time. And so now you see me like rocking on a chair, go yes, go yes. Like now I'm getting all involved in golf. So yeah.
So now
that's my jam.
Now, does your dad drink more wine because of you? Because of that?
Yeah, he does. And he also orders wine. I was like, did you order this online? He's like, yes, I did. He's like, oh, it's on TV. And so I ordered this wine. Like, good for you, Dad. Yeah. But he and his friends still drink Bodacious. Like that is their go-to wine.
That's my mom's
it's
thing
Bodacious.
right there.
Yeah. So
That's my mom's wine, Bodacious.
yeah.
Bring her some good wine. She's like, we want Bodacious. We don't want this.
That's his friends. They drink Bodacious. So
I want this. Vina chocolate. We don't want this.
it's true. Hilarious. Are there any wine questions from the folks who are on that I missed?
Yeah. What do you guys want? What do you guys
Yes,
want to know?
there was a question. Well, I don't even know how I'm gonna find this one.
You got to scroll.
Yeah, but does anybody have any questions? Yeah.
Denise Jojo, is that vomit face for the Bodacious?
No, it's for the bread and butter.
I'm gonna tell my mom you said that, Denise.
with the bread and butter, yo.
Denise, have bodacious on Sunday for these guys when they come.
No. Just have a 6 of Heineken in the corner. We're good. But I'll bring my 6. Don't worry, Denise. I'm good. I'm good. I'll have my 6. I'll have my 6 in the corner. Che, do I get to use the mic? Is Che still here? Kingston is barking. Oh,
Well, I'm going to
man.
find the question, but I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So I think my first encounter with wine, I was maybe 8 years old. Fix your face, man. And that
Her,
was
me.
her.
Me.
And that was around the dinner table on a Sunday.
Mm.
So we used to have dinner as a family around the table and used to pop the Spumante Bambino
Yep.
or the baby duck.
Yep.
For the canayo.
And then as the time passed, Canai was invented. And then we got Canai. So I remember being very young drinking wine. And not like I'm drinking the whole bottle, but I got wine in my cup. Do you remember your first time drinking wine?
So my parents would have parties all the time and host dinners and that type of thing. And they used to serve like really, really bad wine. And they would give like the children like a little bit like for like a cheers, like a toast.
Mhm.
And so we had some in that sense. I never thought it was anything like special. I would like toast and do it and I just leave it. It was not good.
Mhm.
The wines were awful. And plus, my parents would do things like have open bottles of wine in the fridge for like a month and then be serving this to people going, oh, God, let me drink a little wine now. I'm like, okay. So even at like a child, I was like, this does not taste good. But they would drink it. I don't know. Yeah.
That is a question that I actually did want to ask you earlier. How long? So, for instance, I'm not going to finish the bottle of wine tonight.
Mm-hmm.
What is the life
Oh,
expectancy
shit.
of this thing?
Tina, like I finished.
I don't remember. I see my watch busted. Denise, hang on. Denise, I don't have my watch on. Denise, just for the record. I know it's almost time. Okay. So
It depends on how the wine is made. So if it's your wine there with like the brooding tannins and great acidity, with like a proper wine stopper in the fridge, and I wish I had one to show you. Like I bought a bunch of wine stoppers from the LCBO for like $2 each.
Okay.
Like, it's so cheap. Yours could potentially last like a good week and a half in the fridge. The Catena, I think you can probably get a good like 3 days from the Catena in the fridge.
And what's the difference? Why is that?
You've got so much acidity on your wine that it's going to hold up. The structure is going to remain even over days, right? And great tannins too, all well balanced. It will
Tannins, you say?
Yeah.
Tell me about this tannin.
So tannin is the thing like when you drink red wine and sometimes your teeth feel like grippy. It's from the wine skins, and very few white wines will you get that from, but mostly red wines because the skins, when it goes in contact with the must, it imparts tannins. Skin, seed, stems imparts tannins into the wine, and so that's why you have that in your red wine. Like your mouth will start to feel a little pasty.
Can tannins be used for anything else?
Tannins are good in wine, although I'm like, your mouth gets pasty. Like, it's good in wine because it helps to preserve it. It's great for the structure. It helps so it's age worthy, so you can lay it down and have it 10 years from now and so on. So tannins are a good thing. People often tell you, oh, when you go to steakhouse, we're going to get you a lovely red wine. It's got great tannins to go with the steak because of the fat and the marbling in the steak. That's partially true. Because tannins helps to break down fat, but tannins wouldn't be able to do that without acidity. And I could get a little geekier, but all this to say, if your wine has like crazy, lovely, balanced, medium plus acidity, medium plus tannins, you will have a longer time with your wine in the fridge than the Catena.
Okay.
I had a question. So you asked me earlier to like close my eyes and sip the wine or whatever. So if I ask you to close your eyes and I'm like, I'm going to do the wine thing again, right? All these things that wine might have brought you in your life. What is the most like, what's the experience that you say is the most impacting that came from wine? Somehow, some way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Honestly, the very first ethnic food and wine pairing dinner that I did, and seeing the reaction and hearing the tasting notes from people from across the Caribbean and from India and from Vietnam and from Singapore and the Philippines, that nearly brought me to tears. Because imagine I've been doing years of studying and never had the opportunity to experience wine and wine pairing like that.
Right.
And to hear people talk about things I remember from childhood from this wine almost brought me to tears, because we try to change the narrative about it. And if you could take something from your past and pair it with this wine, which technically people say we're not supposed to be doing, like, we're changing the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
I was that, and then when we did the outdoor food and wine festival at Stack Market, obviously I'm running around, but with a smile on my face all day. But there was one time where I was like alone, and I just kind of looked up at the space, and I saw Canada represented. I saw Caucasians, I saw people from Asia, I saw Black, it was Canada. It's like a rainbow of diversity. And that made me want to cry, that these people felt that doing this was an experience that they wanted to be a part of. And a lot of these things I do, and like I walk away going, geez, I'm glad we broke even. Oh God. Woo!
Mhm.
But my heart is so full. And people say things like that all the time, and they don't, I don't know if they mean it, it can be lip service, but I honestly get emotional every time we do these things, because I see the impact and the change. Like the feedback from people from the outdoor festival, I was like, I never thought I could pair Haitian food with wine, but then I tried this at the other. And I'm like, see, and this is what we want to do. We want people to try other people's foods and other people's cuisine and ask questions about their background and their culture. And you learn things. Like a lot of the dishes that we eat in the Caribbean, when you look at the origin, like if you trace it back, there are elements of it that came from the Europeans, elements from it that came from the Africans, elements of it that came from the indigenous that were in the islands when we arrived. And it's like a melting pot of stuff, but no one ever recognizes that. It's always like, oh, that's your food, that's their cuisine, oh, it smells, but no, it has roots in so many different cultures. And if we just looked at that, maybe we would recognize how much more similarities we have versus differences.
That's crazy. That's wonderful. That is yeah, that's big, especially like you said, like being somebody that was like, you're a trailblazer in the industry, right? Like if you, I mean, like I said, I did my little bit of Google. I'm listening to your story. Like I've, you know, part of what I do is having to do that for the show. And as I do it, it's like, well, damn, all right, like cool that you've been able to do, like as you speak it, you can see it, right? And things like that. So question from the chat, it's almost 11:11. So if you can, do you do pairing recommendations for restaurants?
I do. So we, part of the business is consulting for restaurants on their wine list and training staff. So if someone is interested in talking about that, if they go to spicefoodandwine.com and just message me from the site, yeah, we could talk about that. But that's a big one for me as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Brilliant.
And one more question before we get into our special place. There's a question from Reggae City. What are your thoughts about small batch producers like Eastern Long Island, New York?
Oh my God. Okay. You ask a sommelier that question, they're like, oh, I love it. Because we like the nuances and the little things and the niches that people haven't found. I love small batch producers, mostly because they're people who are doing things like the old way, using indigenous yeasts and all that kinds of good stuff. So I'm a massive fan. In my I'm going to speak about Canada because we don't speak about Canadian wine enough. The Canadian wines that I buy are from like small batch producers, like only a few cases made, handpicked this, indigenous yeast, low intervention. Like that is my jam.
Is that like Narai? Would that be considered small batch or no?
He would be considered small batch, for sure. Yes.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. So we're almost at 11:11, Beverly. This is the big moment we talked to you about. So at 11:11, Beverly, we take all the people in the chat and all we talk about or all we feel and all we exude is good juju. We take that minute and you can reflect, you can manifest, but whatever you're doing, everybody going to be doing it with you for an entire minute. I don't even have my watch on because it died at the right time, but it's 11:11 right now.
Yes.
So if you subscribe to Pizza in the Break Room, you got an 11:11 emote, you can do that. If you don't, you can just put 11:11s in the chat. But while you're doing all that for this moment, big up to trailblazers, big up to people that put their passion into stuff. If you got a passion about something, I say you just put it into it, because this is the kind of stuff that happens when you put your passion into something clearly, because I learned a lot today, and Beverly's doing a lot of wonderful, wonderful things up in this world, I'm going to say. Almost set up in this piece. That might have been a little bit too gangster for 11:11, but so it goes. So all good juju. Oh, it's October 11th. Like I see an extra 11. It's October 11th, 11/11.
Almost next month.
Next month, what? Oh, 11/11/11. It's 11/12. Breathe that good juju. Take it in. Do what you got to do.
Breathe it out. Yes.
So, Beverly, tell us, just give us a plug. So anybody that got here late and missed anything, give us a little bit of a plug about yourself.
All right. So if you guys are interested in changing the narrative around food and wine pairing and pairing wine with ethnic cuisines, you must check out spicefoodandwine.com. That's where you'll see all of our events listed, and all of the offerings that we have. Right now we're doing Fall into Spice. Our next one is going to be at George Brown. Wonderful, where we're representing all of the cuisines, the ethnic cuisines in Canada at that dinner. And also stay tuned for more information about Spring into Spice next year, the Outdoor Food and Wine Festival. We did it at Stack Market this year in May, but the next one's going to be at Fort York, June 3rd. Stay tuned.
That's right around my birthday.
One last question, Bev. If you had the opportunity to sit down with one person and drink wine, who would that be?
And what wine would it be with them?
Okay. No, good. Yeah.
Well, I mean, she's a sommelier, bro.
Wow.
Like, go team.
Good question.
See, I normally ask people this question, but I give them like 5 people. Okay, but I'm going to pick one of my 5.
3?
Okay.
You want 3? We'll
Three.
give you
3.
3. We got to be a little bit challenging here in the break room.
Okay. All right. Oprah.
Big Umphy. Oh, yes, to Umphy.
Angela Merkel. Michelle Obama.
Big.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Is it same wine you're bringing for everybody? Like you're because I mean you're probably show up at their place, all right? You're gonna bring some wine, be like, Psh, what are you gonna bring out?
With Oprah, I'm probably gonna bring her a Sauvignon Blanc from the Loire. With Angela, I'm gonna bring her something from California. She'll think that's so austere and amazing. It's expensive and whatever. She'll be happy. With Michelle, I would bring her something from Canada that I can tell a story about that represents me. And you know, here's a joke. Of my 5 people, one of them is also Martha. Oh my God, Martha Stewart. Because I think, although she acts like, I'm so Snoop, we've got to flop. I think she's funny. I think if
she
she
hangs
lets
with
her
Snoop.
hair down, she'd be hilarious. So she'd be like the entertainment at the dinner.
So which one of them would you want to feed wine until they're drunk?
Oh man, I think Michelle. I think she would have some stories. Like, I think it'd be like a fun time with, like, relaxed Michelle would be fun. Yeah.
Wicked. Beverly, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
This was wonderful.
Everybody,
Thank you for having me,
if you
guys.
still got your wine emoji filled, please put them up in the chat. Cheers to everybody. Cheers to you, Beverly. See that hot
Cheers.
shot?
I just chugged my wine right before the cheers. Wait, hang on.
Don't worry, we can wait for you. We can wait for you.
All right, as long as everybody's gonna wait. Also, while we're waiting, I just plugged in. We're gonna raid. So after we cheers and do all that stuff, I'll tell you where we're going. So Beverly, again, cheers to you. Thank you very much. Big up to everybody in the chat.
And thank you everybody for joining us tonight.
We are going
65,
to
Pizza in the Break Room. Before we go, just plug what's it called?
Who that?
What's it called?
Yeah. Watch this, man. Hang on.
The committee presents.
Guy, watch this, man. Hang on, man. You ready?
You got some.
We're gonna raid to DJ Jason Palma. That's what I have pumped in right here, right now. Guys,
it's magic the way this works, eh?
One team, one dream, brother. Right? So DJ Jason Palma, everybody, is going to be one of the DJs at a fundraiser that's coming up for Ronald McDonald House. G the Greek and the committee will be putting this on. We're going to keep family close. Right? There is an event that's coming up very shortly. Almost sold out. I almost had it up. Please hold because I got my ticket. I'm gonna quickly plug Apple by jumping quickly into my wallet. And the first thing that comes up in my wallet is Keeping Families Close on November 5th. There is an event. And then also, you can just click the link and donate for the Ronald McDonald House. DJ Jason Palmer is going to be one of the DJs, Che La Soul, DJ Ron C, Sweet Touch Foundation, and also in 2 weeks, G the Greek, and we're going to say and friends, but big up to G the Greek. And friends are going to be stopping by the break room. We're going to talk about it, get everybody to try to click on the link a little bit more, all that good stuff. So that's my plug for that. I told you I had it ready, man. I got notes and shit for that, Fitz. So yeah, that's why we're gonna go and visit DJ Jason Palma. There's the link from Denise Jojo. Thank you very much for if you want to get tickets to the jam. That'll also lead you to tickets just for the Ronald McDonald House link. I'm gonna click in the chat right now. The raid. So once again, thank you, Beverly.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate you sharing your crowd, your community, and allowing me to speak about what I do. Thank you.
No, thank you for sharing your knowledge. That was amazing. It was a good time. And let's go Raptors and Beverly.
Right? I'm going to be your sommelier.
Yeah, no, that's what they need, man. That'll take them over the top this year.
If not for the Raptors, at least for Golden State, because they need someone to loosen them up over there.
We know LeBron likes some wines too. You know.
At least be Draymond Green's personal sommelier, at least.
We'll talk about that on Friday, bro. Everybody come out Friday, 7:45 a.m. Cold pizza.
Good night, y'all.
One more time, cheers to everybody in the chat. Let's go say hello to DJ Jason Palma. Beverly, hang on one hot second. We're going to take you backstage. Thank you again. Good night, everybody. Oh, there's people in the back. Paulie Lopez. There's people dancing. We're out.